Hello, welcome to TisTalk.
TisTalk is a community podcast from Tisbury, Wiltshire and surrounding villages. Hello, it's Monday the 27th of April. I'm Mary Myers.
And I'm Peter Shallcross.
Thanks very much for coming on the show, Peter.
It was a pleasure.
Here we are in our garden, in my garden, and it's a lovely day. We're recording this on Friday afternoon, and I think this weather's supposed to be set for at least next week, isn't it?
Into May, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, great. So we normally have a bit of local news and a bit of national, international news that have piqued your interest. So, Peter, what have you got for us first?
Well, in national news, I don't know if the listener has picked it up, but there was a briefing in London called the National Emergency Briefing, all about the effects of climate change by probably, I think there was 9 eminent climate scientists, all talking about a different aspect of climate change. And it was well received, I think, but it wasn't publicised very much. So the same people who have organised that have made a short film, an hour-long film, called The People's Emergency Briefing. And it's introduced by Chris Packham, and it's been shown all over the country. And I went to see one viewing in Sherborne, because I was invited to go. And it was a really a well-attended showing of the film.
When was this?
This was last week.
Okay.
And it is a catastrophic situation, and I urge anybody to take note and to go to this to see a screening.
About climate change and about what? About our food security?
It's food security, it's energy security, it's about health, all aspects of how climate breakdown could affect all of us.
Could or is affecting?
Is and will.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not very far away. The bad effects will increase quite quickly.
Right.
So it's a wake-up call, and there's lots of positive news. We should all be taking note of what's happening, what we're doing.
Right.
And there are lots of things we can do, and they're all common sense things.
Such as?
Well, one big one is reducing food waste.
Right.
Easier said than done, but that's just producing so much food that it's actually wasted.
Well, that sounds good. We're going to have the opportunity to see this in Tisbury?
Yes, it's not been advertised yet. I think the hall's only just been booked, so I think that's in July. But before that, there's one in Shaftesbury, I think next week, and I'll be going to that as well, and one in Steeple Langford. Oh. So they're all around. If you put People's Emergency Briefing on the internet, you'll find all the showings. Right,
sounds like a must-see. And in terms of very local news...
the solar farm in Potterne. So I've just read on the news today that it's been approved against local advice, I think.
Oh.
So it's been turned down once, and now it's 218 acres near Devizes, and it's a solar farm there. And planning inspector Callum Parker gave it the go-ahead and said although it would be some harm to the character and appearance of the area, it would be very limited and very localised. Okay. So the effects are less than the benefits.
Wow. Interesting. Now, we've just come in from the garden and we're going to tell you what's on the show. This week we've got a spring-like and environmental theme. Our first guest is Gerry Murray with an update from his point of view as Wiltshire Councillor about recycling and rubbish and fly tipping.
There's going to be a weekly collection of a new bin, a small food waste container.
We then hear from Steve Tonkin, the Dark Sky Advisor for the Cranbourne Chase National Landscape, how we could improve our lighting here in Tisbury and what he thinks of Artemis II.
It doesn't mean no light, it means right light, right place, right time, and everybody and everything can benefit from it.
And then we have a little preview about what to expect on May Day in Ansty.
Everybody has been hugely generous, and I would definitely ask people to come along and have a good go on the Dombola.
And then we end the show with Christabel Watts presenting the What's On listings, accompanied by some jazz. And then we end with a very topical bird that you might recognise.
You can find all our episodes on tistalk.co.uk.
I'm back at the parish rooms with Gerry Murray, who's our representative on Wiltshire Council, our elected councillor. And thanks very much for coming on TisTalk again, Gerry.
Oh, it's very nice to be here, Mary. Very nice to see you again.
So I want to have a little update about rubbish and recycling. So last time, the charges at Shaftesbury dump hadn't been brought in. And you also talked about some potential changes to the bins. So can you give us an update on both those issues, please?
Yeah, let's talk about the Shaftesbury Recycling Centre first. You're quite right. The Dorset Council have now started to charge out of Dorset residents, mostly from Wiltshire, for attendance at their home recycling centre at Shaftesbury. The charge is £8.50, and it seems to be working. So that's that. The development, apart from that starting, the development is that Wiltshire Council has now agreed to open negotiations with Dorset Council as to how Wiltshire Council residents can be allowed to use that tip cost-free. Now, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up straight away. These things take time. And what takes the time is the building of data that can form the basis of a negotiation. Wiltshire have now developed their own booking system, which will be run as a test in September across 3 or 4 sites, including one site that people will know in Salisbury. Now, it will have other benefits in that it will reduce the queuing at Salisbury, which is a real problem, as everybody knows. But it will also give us data whereby this inter-county negotiation can take place.
So there'll be a booking system introduced at the Salisbury tip dump, but we won't have to pay as Wiltshire residents.
We won't have to pay.
There's a chance that we might not have to pay for Shaftesbury in the distant future. If there's an agreement, this whole paying thing might be repealed.
That is correct.
You began by saying the booking and paying system is working. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's working to the extent that I've used it and observed that it does what it's supposed to do.
You mean on the website?
Yeah, I personally have been on the website several times, given my true data, and it identified me as a Wiltshire resident and said, you're very welcome to use our tip, but it's going to cost you £8.50. Click on this and pay. So it works.
I see, in that way. Okay.
Yeah. But whether it works to prevent queues, whether it works to make the site any more efficient, that all remains to be seen.
Right, yeah.
But for the moment, it's working as a booking system, and it will identify you as a Wiltshire resident if you give Wiltshire data.
Right. Do you want to say anything about fly tipping?
You know, in logical thinking, you would have to assume that if people are denied the opportunity to tip legally at a recycling centre, then that is going to increase the frequency of fly tipping. And I don't blame people at all for thinking that. However, no one seems to have any data which supports this. Now, that may just be a matter of time, and the whole Shaftesbury situation may be a very good test case of that. But as things stand at the moment, no one can find data in the public domain that connects the two, as you've just said.
Right.
So we'll see.
But is Wiltshire Council on it? I mean, is it trying to collect some data?
Wiltshire Council is red hot on fly tipping, and the number of fly tipping prosecutions has increased quite dramatically over the last couple of years.
Okay.
And we have very, very good enforcement now, much better than in the past. So if there is an increase in fly tipping, I'm confident that the administration will pick it up. and you only have to, because cases are now publicised, and when people are prosecuted and fined, it is put in the public domain, and you can see the increase in prosecution. So I'm very confident that if there is an increase, it will be picked up. There's always been fly tipping, we know that. We just have to drive down the road to see it.
Yes.
Whether there's been more, or whether there will be more as a result of this difficulty with Shaftesbury, remains to be seen. But as I said earlier, these incidences will be reported, and the council will have to say whether there's been an increase in not. And all I can say to people is, if you see it, report it.
Okay.
If you don't report it, it's not going to get recorded.
Sure.
Don't drive past it. Don't pick it up because it may be dangerous. But report it. And you can report it on the My Wilts app. And that's really easy.
Anyway, back to recycling, rubbish and recycling.
Okay. So the government, some time ago, issued new regulations about waste management and recycling and residual waste. That was supposed to happen in 2026, but Wiltshire have an exemption to 2027. They got a year's delay because of the implications for the waste collection fleet.
You mean it's going to cost them quite a bit to change the system, so they put it off?
Yeah, they've got to change the lorries that do it,
right?
Because they're collecting different things. So here's what's going to happen. In 2027, there's going to be a weekly collection of a new bin, a small food waste container. Right. Now that will contain all of the stuff that's produced through cooking your meals. Peelings and clippings from vegetables, clippings from meat and fish products, and all of that kind of thing, which previously people would have put in a black bag into the grey bin. A recent, very exhaustive research was carried out with 570 households in Chippenham. It revealed the contents of the black bag.
Right.
Now, in the black bag, which we call residual waste, which is what's left over after you recycle everything in the blue bin, in the black bag, 50% of it was material that was going to decompose and become rotten. Food waste, vegetable clippings, maybe a bit of garden waste, all of that kind of stuff. So most of that will go into the new food waste bin in 27 when that comes out. So what that means, in theory, we'll see, but in theory, it means that the contents, the volumetric contents of the black bag in the grey bin will reduce theoretically by half. Right. So that what that enables, and it won't contain material, except for some special circumstances, which I'll come on to in a minute, it won't contain material which will rot, decompose, or cause an odour. And for that reason, that grey bin collection is moving from 26 collections a year to 18.
Right.
So you're going to lose 9 collections, but the contents of the black bag will be much less.
Yeah. So you said the food waste bins are going to be small, but perhaps they should be a bit bigger.
Well, perhaps they should be a bit bigger, and I think there's some...
If half our present waste is actually destined for that food waste...
Well, it's half our present residual waste in the black bag, and there's a conversation going on about that, and we've got time to do that. But that will be collected weekly.
Yes.
I'll say that again, that will be collected weekly, because that is stuff that's going to decompose quickly, it's going to rot and be smelly, and we can't have our... And it will also obviously need protection from animals, because if you put that out on a Tuesday night, you want it there on a Wednesday morning when the van comes to collect it, and not all over the road, disturbed by a fox or a badger or whatever. So that's all being designed at the moment. So again, food waste collection every week, much less in the black bag in the grey bin, and that collection will move from 26 to about 18 a year. That's every 3 weeks.
Right.
Then the blue bin, what is going to be possible to recycle in the blue bin is going to be expanded. It's going to include much more of the soft film packaging. Now, it's very simple what's going to happen. At the recycling centre, where all this waste is, there are going to be multiple passes through the recycling selection and collection machinery, and that's going to enable a wider spectrum of products that can go into the recycling in terms of...
What about the food waste? Will that all go to this biodigester that's in, where is it?
Westbury. I think that is the plan as it stands at the moment.
And how much is destined to landfill?
Well, at the moment, we've got about 10% to 12%, depending on the time of year, I think, going into landfill.
At the moment? At
the moment. And the objective is clearly to get that down. Yeah. If we can get the recyclables up from 40 to 60, that presents a big opportunity to reduce both what goes to landfill and, what goes to be burnt. Now, the council is going to have to do something about the amount of waste that is incinerated, because the laws are changing in that the council is going to be taxed on the CO2 emissions that is produced by that incineration.
By central government.
By central government, and it's going to be significant. And therefore, there is going to be a drive, a financial drive, to reduce the amount of waste that's incinerated. So this whole waste situation, it's actually called a waste transformation programme. And Wiltshire Council is on it, and indeed it has no choice but to be on it. The government has told it what it's got to do, and all credit to the officers who are energetically going for this now, and people will see a real difference in the way in which their waste is treated.
Oh, thanks very much, Gerry.
Always a pleasure, Mary. Nice to see you.
Now, just after I spoke to Gerry Murray, he sent me an email to show that Wiltshire Council is actually top of the local league in the southwest in terms of tackling fly tipping. Wiltshire Council apparently has an award-winning approach to tackling illegal waste through We're Targeting Fly Tippers and Stop at Source campaigns, which have been running successfully since 2022, apparently. I mean, we can all have our own opinions about how well this anti-fly tipping thing is being enforced, but don't forget there are ways to report it, and there's even a £200 reward if Wiltshire Council secures a penalty or prosecution. That's if you use My Wilt's website to report fly tipping or report unlicensed waste collectors.
Here, next, is Steve Tonkin talking about Starfest, and Mary first asked him about how good or bad Tisbury is for lighting for the dark skies.
Like everywhere, it can be improved. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It really needs to, again, like everywhere, get hold of the idea, what does responsible outside light mean? And that means really it's 5 principles. There's only use light if that's absolutely necessary. Make sure it's shining down, so it's where it's needed.
Yes.
Have it on timers, so it's on when it's needed. And don't use more than necessary. Yeah. And also get away from these horrible, bright, blue-rich things, which nobody likes anyway, because they just dazzle and they look so artificial. And go for warm white lighting if you're going to have white or even amber or red. Yeah. And in Denmark now, they're looking at using red street lights, and it's a heck of a lot better, because actually it penetrates the dark much better than this bright white stuff. You can get away with a heck of a lot less light if you use red. But no, not everybody wants to. You possibly don't want to shine red light into your garden when you go out there at night, because might not think it's aesthetic, but you can still use white light responsibly. And just not too bright and only on when you need it. And that's really what we need to do. It's very, very easy to light properly.
So where did you feel that it was particularly glary and bad?
Well, one thing we did notice, unfortunately, is the side of the Nadder Centre. There's some rather bright lights up there,
dear,
and they are badly directed as well. They need to be just directed downwards. If they were just tilted downwards, they'd be almost perfectly fine.
Right, so that would just be a tiny tweak.
Yeah.
Totally free, presumably.
Yeah, that's often all that's needed. Most people, when they mount floodlights, they mount them to about 45 degrees, which is silly because they've got a very wide beam angle, so a lot of it's going to go upwards. You don't want the light upwards. And the number of times we've shown people how to do it properly, face them downwards, they've been surprised. Oh, it's so much brighter now on the ground where we need. Well, yes, because you're putting all the light there. We don't need to put light in the sky.
So, just before I started recording, we talked about the possibility of Tisbury actually getting a certification, dark sky certification. What would it take to get that? Is that quite a hard thing to achieve?
For somewhere the size of Tisbury, yes. In reality, it would need the parish council to lead it, obviously.
Right.
I was talking to people on the Environment Committee, who are the ones who organised Starfest with us, and they seem pretty keen on the idea. The question is how to do it, and it's getting everybody on board and helping people to realise that it doesn't mean no light. It means right light, right place, right time, and everybody and everything can benefit from it.
But what kind of procedures does a place have to go through to get this dark skies certificate?
Well, it depends how far it wants to go. The basic minimum would be that 2/3 of all lighting in Tisbury is what we call dark sky compliant. So it needs to be facing downwards, shielded, so nothing up in the air, and on timers or motion detectors, and or a maximum brightness, 500 lumens, and this warm white light, and that would be the start. That would be a 3-star certification. If you want to go the whole hog, which actually you have done a lot of the other things, which is advertising and promoting astronomy and dark skies, which is, they've done an excellent job of that over Starfest, and to repeat that sort of thing, and just to make things available for people to do and to appreciate the dark skies, which again, we'd obviously help with. Gradually, I think it could happen. It would take a few years, because getting people on board is one thing. Also, getting people to change their lighting, because some of it can, yes, be directed downwards, but if you've actually got to replace lighting to make it compliant, well, we need to look at how you can do that. I mean, sometimes we're able to give people the lights to do it with.
Yes.
But there will be cases where we can't do that, and you might not be able to afford it straight away.
Yeah.
That's why we say 2/3 to start with.
Right.
So there's that trade-off, and gradually then, over the years, people can replace more and more of the stuff that we call bad lighting with good lighting, and get there.
And you were saying that there's a place in Scotland the same size as Tisbury that has done it.
It's a place called Moffat.
Right.
Moffat, up in Dumfries and Galloway. They did it. And the before and after pictures of Moffat are wonderful. It starts off with just this sky glow everywhere. And now the streets are just as well lit as before, but the sky is dark.
Great.
And that's what you need.
So maybe in 4 years' time we might have Starfest again, and we might also have got the certification. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
This is one thing that some people on the Environment Committee have said, it would be a wonderful thing to celebrate getting dark sky certification with another Starfest here. I'd love to do that.
It would be great, wouldn't it? Steve, I must just ask you about Artemis II. I mean, what did you think of it? Was it really amazing for you, or did you think, oh well, moon, done that, been there?
No, it is amazing. I mean, okay, it's been a long time since the last moon landings, and In some ways, I think it's sad that we haven't been back to the moon, but it's also an incredibly expensive thing to do. I think it's a human thing to try to explore, try to find out more, and I think from that point of view it's great. I say it's incredibly expensive. I'm not convinced that for exploring the moon that you actually need to send people there. It's certainly not. Robots are much better in many ways. They're much more robust.
Yes.
We don't tend to cry so much when we lose one as we would if it was, it's a harsh environment. But it's just the whole idea of human exploration. I just think it's lovely. Yeah, a good thing in many ways.
Thanks very much. And that was Steve Tonkin, Dark Sky Advisor and Astronomer for the Cranbourne Chase National Landscape. Yeah, and he's so good, isn't he, Peter? I know that you've actually got a dark sky certificate for your farm, haven't you?
Yeah, we tried to get better, and I did volunteer at the Starfest and got a really nice email back from Steve thanking me for, well, I didn't do very much, but yeah, he was very good.
Yeah.
Very good indeed.
Of course, though, it will take quite a concerted effort to make Tisbury a proper dark sky village, won't it?
It will, and it needs all of the community working together. It's really good that the parish council is on board with this and very proactive.
Yeah, let's hope that they can achieve it.
This is TisTalk from Tisbury, Wiltshire.
So next, I went to talk to Paul Greenhalgh and Anna, his wife, in Ansty, to have a little preview of what to expect next week at Ansty May Day. So, Paul, first, you are the new chair of the committee, the Maypole Committee. And so what can we expect this year?
Well, firstly, thanks for coming today, Mary. Really appreciate that. This year is an improvement or a progression of what's gone on before. In particular, what's slightly different this year is that we're having a new bar, which is named after the old pub in the village, which is the Maypole. And that closed about 15 years ago. And the last landlord who lived in the village up until a couple of months ago, who's recently passed away, we felt it was a little bit because of him, and we thought we'd try and pull the thing together. We're also running the bar ourselves, because sometimes we subcontract it out to a local bar. But it's quite a good money-making thing in terms of for the charities that we're raising money for.
Great.
This year we have our very own tombola, and it's in our set colours, which is ruby red.
Yeah.
And yes, it's ready for winning some fantastic prizes for everybody.
Yeah, so what are the charities this year?
It's Anna, help me again.
It's Julia House and Alzheimer's Research UK. They're two charities that the village feel very dear to their heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you got a target this year at all?
No, we haven't, but we do have some fantastic prizes that have been donated by shops in Tisbury and pubs and cafes around the area.
Such as?
We've had some wonderful donations from Flower and Twine, Gardner and Badil, Fox and King, and Stalls, Compton McRae, Bird and Carter, The Boot,
Right.
Witchmark Distillery. Everybody has been hugely generous, and I would definitely ask people to come along and have a good go on the tombola.
Yeah, great. And you're involved, Anna, with the lovely graphics on
the
the
artwork
programme.
and the programmes. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
but
really
I mean,
nice.
this is taken away from the fact that the children that do the maypole dancing put in so much effort, and it is just a joy to watch them. They are fantastic.
Yes,
I
great.
think a shout out to Wendy Spencer-Smith, who does the training for the dancing. She does a fantastic job. Has been done it many years.
And
Georgina Cluett,
who does
the music.
The music. They're fantastic.
So, Paul, the decision has definitely been made to have it on the bank holiday Monday.
That's correct. A decision or a vote went into the village, and it came back that most preferred for it to be on the bank holiday Monday, which I can understand perhaps for younger families, but equally I can understand the traditionalists keeping it to the 1st. So whether it's fixed forever or not, I don't know, but for now it definitely is for this event.
Yeah. So, in terms of the programme, Paul, can you just give us a summary?
Yes, I'll give you a brief rundown. At 1 o'clock, the Master of Ceremonies, Mr. John Gooding, declares the May Day open, and the festivities will begin then. At 2 o'clock, the Master of Ceremonies will lead the procession out of the May Queen and the attendants and the children to the Maypole to start dancing. So we'll have half an hour of that thereabouts. And then at 2:30, we'll have the White Horse Morris dancers come down the street to the Maypole, and there'll be some more dancing in honour of the May Queen. At 3:15, the Maypole dancing will join some family dancing around the pole, which will be great. And then at 5 o'clock, we close. And during that time, there's some stalls. There's obviously there's the bar to enjoy. There's the tombola. There's the food stalls, ice cream. Yeah, what else, Anna? Plant store.
Well, may the weather shine on us. It normally does, and it hardly ever rains.
We've been quite lucky.
Touch
Can we
wood.
just remind everybody actually that the village, the road from Tisbury through to the A30 will be closed from, I think, around 12 o'clock.
Ansty High Street.
Ansty High Street will be closed.
Ansty High Street will be closed for the duration.
And that's, of course, Monday, 4th of May. Yeah, thank you very, very much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to that. And finally, we conclude with What's On in Tisbury with Christabel Watts. And after Christabel, we gently go into a soundscape of the recording of Cuckoos.
Yes, have you heard any yet?
They have been heard, Mary, but I haven't quite heard them. My hearing was not good enough to hear them far away.
Yeah. Anyway, it's great to hear that they're back.
Here's what's on in Tisbury and surrounding villages from Monday the 27th of April to Sunday the 3rd of May 2026. On Monday the 27th, Tisbury Parish Council Environment Committee will be meeting at 6 p.m. at the Reading Room on Tisbury High Street. All are welcome to observe. On Tuesday the 28th, the Tisbury Carer Cafe will be at Harry's on the Square from 10:30 a.m. till 12 p.m. Join them to chat and connect with other unpaid carers. No need to book. Tisbury Flower Group will meet at 7 p.m. in the Hinton Hall for a demonstration and chance to try the Japanese art of flower arrangement called Ikebana. The monthly green drinks is at 7:30 p.m. in the back room of the Boot Inn. This is an informal social gathering to chat about all things environmental. On Wednesday the 29th, the Tisbury Memory Group will be meeting in Hinton Hall from 10 till 12 for a handicraft session with a simple creative activity to enjoy at your own pace. On Thursday the 30th, learn karate at the Nadder Centre from 7 till 8 p.m. Build confidence, improve coordination, have fun and learn self-protection skills. Suitable for juniors and seniors, all abilities and first-timers welcome. For more information and to book, contact 07776 061 819. The Lamb in Hindon's monthly quiz night is at 7:30 p.m. You can join with teams of up to 6 and a £50 bar tab is up for grabs. It's a free event, but any donations towards the Cinnamon Trust are much appreciated. Then on Friday the 1st, the monthly Family Friday session at Tisbury Methodist Church will run from 3:30 till 5 p.m, with activities for children and a shared early dinner. The theme is Party Special, as this will be the start of the 125 years celebrations for the church. On Saturday the 2nd, the country market will be on at the Victoria Hall from 10 till 11 a.m, with a range of local produce, including local beef, pork, cakes, jams and chutneys. Harry's on the Square have their supper club from 6 till 9 p.m. 2 courses for £25 and 3 courses for £35. Booking essential. You can phone them to book on 01747 871 469. There are standing tickets now available for the Glorious Assembly Jazz Orchestra World Premiere event at Messens at 7 p.m. Advance tickets £40. Any remaining tickets on the door £70 and standing tickets £10. Buy them on their website www.messens.org. The Bennett Arms have an 80s and 90s disco from 9 p.m. till late if you want to dance the night away. On Sunday the 3rd, the old Fonthill Abbey grounds will be open to visit from 10:30 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. Bluebell woods and rhododendrons, lakeside walks and abbey views, barbecue and homemade refreshments. Entry by donation, suggested £10 per adult in aid of Cure Parkinson's and local charities, and polite dogs are welcome. They will also be open again on Sunday the 17th of May. From 10:45 a.m. till 1 p.m, the Oysters Coppice volunteer work session will continue their woodland management and repair of visitor infrastructure. All ages welcome, and tools and training supplied. Please register with Wiltshire Wildlife Trust if you want to attend at www.volunteering.wiltshirewildlife.org. Looking ahead, on Monday the 4th, Ansty May Day returns from 1 till 5 p.m. with a May Day procession, maypole dancing from Tisbury Youth Dance Group, White Horse Morris dancing, live music, hot food, licensed bar, cake, a tombola and craft stalls. Proceeds from the day will go towards maintaining the May Day tradition, including future upkeep of the maypole, as well as supporting Julia's House and Alzheimer's Research UK. And that's all for the What's On listings. Have a great week.
Thank you, Christabel. And the music you heard there was from the John Lloyd Quartet, who played at the New Vic last Friday, and we recorded that with permission, of course. Apparently it was an excellent evening. Here are those cuckoos we promised you.
And thanks for having me, Mary. I look forward to next week's broadcast.
And thanks very much for listening. Bye-bye.